Who are you?
Mark Hatch, CEO of Tech Shop.
And we're in Tech Shop San Francisco.
We're at Tech Shop San Francisco, one of 7 locations across the U.S., 3 in the Bay Area: San Francisco, Menlo Park, San Jose, Detroit, Austin, Raleigh, and Pittsburgh. We just opened Pittsburgh with a DARPA grant and with Veterans Administration. So we'll be training 1,000 veterans a year for the next 2 years how to launch maker businesses.
Very cool.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Well, Make Magazine and Maker Fair has really launched a whole range.
It's a whole movement. I think it's a revolution or a movement, or as Chris Anderson recently said, the next revolution. There are a bunch of these trends that are coming together to enable manufacturing and making in very cheap, easy, reconfigurable ways that we've never seen before. Many of them can be done cheaply. And then again, in this context where you've got Kickstarter and Indiegogo and Etsy and other ways of going to market and getting funding, I think the whole game has changed.
And this is Shell Israel.
Chris did get fun. I'm Robert Scoble. And you're not.
Whoa!
Let's go take a tour, because I want to get away from this light.
So a small retail store here in Austin, Texas. We have a Lowe's on the other side of that, so that comes in very handy. Great big huge sliding doors between us and them, and they've actually reconfigured some of the stock next to the door, so they carry all the stuff that our members need. It's kind of fun. So we eat our own dog food here. A lot of the stuff is made by Tech Shop when we open it. So little desks here and benches and so forth. If anything, it's a problem. There's a point at which we have to tell the staff, no. Just because we can make it doesn't mean we should. These lighting fixtures are an example. So those were hand spun by one of our instructors, and they only cost us $300 or $400 a pop. The rest of them only ran $70 from China.
Yeah, I was going to say you could have gone to Lowe's and done it for $100. Yeah.
But we like to do a lot of our own stuff. Yeah. So business models, memberships primarily, classes. We teach 100 to 200 class sessions a month, typically 5 to 6 people in a class. We do some short-run manufacturing, mostly around 3D printing. We rent offices out to startups and rent space out to folks who have really big projects. And then we do all kinds of corporate events: lasers and beer, welding and wine, water jet and whiskey, power tools and alcohol. It's a great combination.
Yeah. What's your safety record like?
That explains the kayak.
Yeah, that explains the half-done kayak, right?
We have a lot of fun.
So
we describe ourselves as a transformative experience. We're actually a retailer, not a shop.
Yeah.
Right? And so we put glass in so that people can see as soon as they come in the door all the exciting stuff that's going on the other side. We use fun colors. We keep the place clean. It's aspirational. That's all part of trying to deliver this transformative experience that we give to our members in the community.
yeah. Who should be coming in here? What kind of people?
Anybody who likes to make things fits here very nicely. If you're into knitting, if you're into textiles, come on in. If you're into metal, if you're into plastic, if you're into cardboard, anybody who literally likes to make things comes in. Our demographics are flat: 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, the same percentage across the board. Artists, tinkerers, students, entrepreneurs, and tinkerers are kind of the pseudo-demographic or psychographic that we use. Entrepreneurs come in and launch businesses. Some of them are really good-sized businesses, like Square came out of Menlo Park. A lot of them are small startups. Artists, we love them because they add spice to the community. We're not as happy with them when they come at a tool without a project and just try to see what the thing will do. It's often how tools will get broken, which is kind of fun because occasionally you'll get an engineer and an artist side by side, and the engineer will go, "Dude, I didn't know you could do that with that tool," because they're doing some unorthodox thing. Students all ages and all demographics, as young as 8 years old, all the way up to 80. You get lifelong learners.
Is this the replacement for the metal shop that we had in junior high?
It's that plus a whole lot of other things, but at a minimum, it's the replacement for shop at school. This is the most creative place in San Francisco on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night. And at midnight we close down and we all go to the bar across the street. But there for about 5 or 6 hours, I mean, you have university professors, PhDs, physicists, you have designers from Method, from Levi's, from The Gap, you have designers and artists from Macy's, from ACC, from other places. You have artists, entrepreneurs, engineers, and students all mixed in while they're doing something that they're very passionate about.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Besides Square, what other Grand Slam home runs?
Dodo Case, you probably heard of.
Yeah, I have.
Patrick Buckley did $35 million last year. Ones you may not have heard of, Clustered Systems was bought by Emerson Electronics. It's the world's most efficient data cooling center solution. They're going to sell tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars of those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Solemn was the number 3 or number 4 ag startup last year. They've raised $20 million from Koshla and DFJ and others. It's a nitrogen detection GPS-enabled device that figures out how much fertilizer is in the ground already, so you don't spend too much money on fertilizer, or you don't let it run off into the Mississippi and create a dead zone.
Right.
Drip Tech came out of the Stanford D School. It's the world's cheapest drip irrigation system. It's now getting deployed across India, China, and Africa. Embrace, Jane Chen's came out of the D School as well. She just won top 5 social entrepreneurial by the World Economic Forum. It's going to save 100,000 babies in the next 5 years. You know, and then dozens and dozens of Kickstarter projects. Bridge is a great iPad keyboard. They raised $780,000. There's a guy upstairs just finished his called Lumina. It was a nice, beautiful book lamp hybrid. He just raised $570,000. Oru Kayak, a collapsible kayak guy, raised $480,000, something like that. So I mean, dozens and dozens and dozens of Kickstarter type projects come out of here. It is the cheapest way of launching a hardware company in all of human history. You know, at a time when the ease of doing that, because of software and Arduinos and embedded processors, are getting to where
What's membership cost?
$125 a month. Yeah, so you're looking at a facility that's
Do you have to guarantee more than 1 month? Or?
No. It's
Exactly.
$175 if you just do it 1 month. It's $125 if you give us your credit card. Here's the secret: you can always just discontinue at the end of the month. So it's $125. We do
Or
specials.
discontinue your credit card.
Yeah. We also run specials. You can get it. I mean, if you're careful and you buy it the right time of year, you can get it for like $1,000 a year. And this is for access to millions of dollars worth of a facility and equipment. So it's like 4 order of magnitude drop in the cost of access.
Yeah, when we were at Autodesk, the CTO
Yeah.
there said complexity is free, and that's what he's talking about.
Exactly. The computers allow you to do things that you would never be able to do. I mean, you could, but I like to say we got a machine over here that will out Rococo the Rococo artists, because the machine doesn't care how complex it is. It'll work all night long.
Have any people met here and started a business?
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. It happens all the time. Clustered Systems met some of their designers and developers. Giraffe head there. It's a remote-controlled video conference telepresence robot company. Met one of their marketing guys here. Yeah.
Got it.
It's a robot that wanders around, and you tap into it through the internet. It's a video conference platform. They actually sold it. They moved to Sweden and sold it to a Swedish company.
Do you know PCH or Liam?
Oh, sure.
Casey?
Oh, yeah, Liam
He's
rocks.
moving around here, right?
Yeah, well, Soma is the place to be, man.
Well, I think it's the Pool, the tech shop, that's doing that, right?
Lemnos Labs explicitly moved
I should
in.
explain what he's the supply chain in China.
Yes.
So if you need to make millions of things,
You just go- you
this
just go
isn't a
ahead.
place to make a million
No.
widgets of
So
some
you make
kind.
50, maybe 1,000 max, and then you contact Liam if you've got a tiger by the tail, and he'll deliver the rest. I mean, that really is the right kind of supply chain.
What did you-
3D Systems has moved in just like 3 blocks over as well.
Are you one of the tech shop founders?
I'm a co-founder.
Co-founder.
Yeah, Jim Newton founded it about 6 years ago.
And what did you do before this?
I ran Kinko's computer services section across the U.S. So I overheard him say at a party, a demo party, 5 years ago, it's kind of like Kinko's for geeks. And I ran the geeky part of Kinko's, so it was like, I am Kinko's for geeks? What are you talking about? So we started a conversation. I came in and talked to 3 entrepreneurs back to back, and basically they all said, you know, Jim has saved me 97% of my development cost. Instead of $200,000, it was $4 grand. Instead of, you know, $150,000, it was $3 grand.
We should write a book here.
Well, that's what we're here for.
And then I ran, you know, in the computer services section of Kinko's, we launched more graphic design companies than any university ever did. Every year, literally thousands of graphic design companies would get launched out of our space because they would come in and use it for $18.34 an hour. They would learn Cork, they would learn Photoshop, they would learn CorelDRAW, they would use our software and hardware, use the high quality printers to produce their portfolio, and then go out and land business. And that happened all the time. You know, we had 800 locations, it was happening all the time. So when I ran into Jim and came through the space, it was like, oh my gosh, this is the Kinko's of the 21st century. We're moving from 2D to 3D, and it's coming fast.
Yep. Since we're writing a book on context, Age of Context, which is about sensors and wearable computers and big data and social network data, location data, how it mixes together, are you seeing any trends along those lines coming through the shop here?
Well, we think, so we think that the bits to atoms merger is well on its way. We're still at very early stages. Embedded is clearly where everything's going, whether it's wearable clothing or eyewear or watches, whether it's reporting devices or diagnostics. I mean, we see people embedding electronics in all kinds of different things here. One recent favorite of mine was this. They were using the water jet on the laser cutter to build this beautiful black leather clutch. It's like, wow, that is absolutely gorgeous. And then the woman says, yeah, watch this. And she flipped the Arduino switch and the whole thing just lit up. Lights were flowing all over back and forth. It was like the Bay Bridge, except in color, and doing all kinds of different patterns. Like, wow, you gotta let me know when that thing's ready because I'm gonna buy it for my wife. I don't care what it costs.
Yeah.
You know, 500, 600, 700 bucks. That is a clutch that nobody else can touch. And the cool thing is that you can then tie it into whatever you're wearing, right? Are you wearing pink? Are you wearing purple? Are you feeling black today? You just kind of wear that. And you can upgrade it, right? So you want it to show your mood, as John Cahill would say, tap it into your limbic system, and then it will actually emote for you. It's coming.
I haven't had enough chemistry today to get into that.
Save it for the big picture chapter. That's the solution.
So what's going on here?
Let's keep going.
Get a tour here.
So this is a standard mill with the DRO, digital readout, and this is representative of one of the trends. So this tool itself used to run $50,000. The digital readout, when they first came out, because of the silicone and stepper motors and all the fancy electronics, this baby was $100,000 by itself. This is a $50,000 machine. It was $150,000 in most mills about, call it 20 years ago. Today, we're buying this entire thing, drop shipped and set up for $7,500 bucks. So again, almost 2 orders of magnitude cheaper than where, order magnitude and a half. Better, we move over to this next machine, is this computer numerically controlled mill. Excuse us, we're going to slip right through here. Okay.
Sorry.
So this is a CNC mill. Similar kind of thing, $250,000, just 10 or 15 years ago. The software seat was $100,000
What did you
by
say
itself.
this is?
This is a computer numerically controlled mill.
And what, by the way, who are you?
My name's Brian. I run a little company called Emotimo, and I use this to mill out some camera head parts. So we make moving time-lapse rigs and motion control rigs
Oh, very cool.
for all sorts of cameras.
Yeah,
Looks
like mine.
that.
Yeah. Very cool.
You're still next door, right?
We're next door. We actually expanded,
Oh, good
and
for you.
we do just some machining runs here, but we have about 1,000 square feet down the road where we do our assembly. We employ now, we got 5 people on payroll.
Awesome.
Hey.
So we're good. And
What does
today we
Tech
just
Shop
did a
mean to
little
you?
fill-in. Normally I don't run this machine, but
Yeah.
what's that?
What does Tech Shop mean to you? You probably couldn't have started your company without
It
something
changed
like
the
this.
game. It did. Before, when I was thinking about starting the Motimo, and I was thinking about starting something like this, I was going to try to rent or lease a space to grab a machine just like this. So the roadmap went from the horizon of my initial capital, I bootstrapped this myself, went from about 9 months to about 2 years without doing anything. I got access to machines like this, and really the entire tech shop, I leveraged those sorts of machines for really, I think Mark told you the reasonable, what's it, 125 bucks now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for that and known cost up front, I was able to not try to be in the equipment business and started just innovating. So
What's the name of your company?
Emotimo, E-M-O-T-I-M-O. Check us out.
And you do all sorts of things for video cameras.
We do robotic camera heads. That's so motion control.
I'm hanging
camera.
out this weekend in Sun Valley with some of the world's best photographers, so we should talk.
I'm bringing my camera up there.
He's got the cheapest panning system on the planet right now.
I would say the highest value one. And actually, we do stuff that $10,000 rigs can't. And we take it to places. We've been to Antarctica. We've been to the Arctic. We've been. It's been all over the world. We sold to about 45 different countries now.
And after that one-liner, I assume you do your own PR too.
I do. I do. Actually, but we just hired a marketing guy to help out, so it's one of the 5.
Very cool.
But yeah, we've.
Are you talking to the Smug Mug guys? Because I know they love using robotic camera stuff as well.
We haven't chatted with them yet. Really, we're focused.
They're really passionate about high resolution, multi-gigapixel photography.
It's gigapixel photography is one aspect of it, but we're putting together really high def footage, 4K footage actually, and making those sorts of individual shots move. So anything moving and tilting, so we can stitch together a bunch of stuff. But that's been around for a little bit. We're taking what Planet Earth did a while ago on BBC, and actually I sell to BBC now. So
What's your entry level model go for?
entry level is about $700 bucks, and we can integrate with other open source solutions, and for about $1,500 bucks you can get a repeatable 3-axis motion control system now.
Very cool. Very cool.
So,
I gotta come over.
check us out.
You're still using Arduino, or you gone to an embedded processor?
We still actually use Arduino. We kind of stepped up a little bit because here's a great example. We made our product open source, and because of that, we've had a bunch of different other software manufacturers come to us and say, hey, integrate our stuff. So we can actually, once we move to the higher power Arduino, we were just able to drop in various bits of firmware and expand.
Cool.
So just recently we released the black version earlier this year, and it's been very popular. So most of these things that we're milling out today are already sold. So
Most of the people using your product are probably using like RED cameras or bigger cameras, or are they
Red
using
on down, we
GoPros?
focused on digital SLR. So
Okay.
about 8 pounds is the top end. You can overload it if you want, but if you're going out in the field and you're getting in environmental conditions, like we have people going to the top of mountains.
Yeah,
So,
the Canon 5D Mark III. So
yeah, I mean,
away we go.
huge Canon contingent. We've got some Nikon pros that are shooting with us too and helping us out. So yeah, all across the board, really digital SLR is our sweet spot.
very cool. I'm gonna come over and see you guys.
So again, this was a $250,000 machine. The software was $100,000. It was a big driver. And you had to learn G-code, which is a little harder than Visual Basic, a little easier than C++. But it took you 6 months to a year to get good at it if you had access to the $100,000 in software. Now, this machine is less than $20,000, including the software. And we teach the software class in 2 or 3 class sessions. So it went from a $250,000 inaccessible machine to $125 a month that you can learn how to use this week. That revolutionizes everything associated with hardware. Now,
Here, let's get out of this way.
Now you can be a product guy.
I don't want to stop startups from making money.
How's this going?
YouTube. I'm Scobalizer, Robert Scoble. So
Oh, very nice.
Scobalizer.com, or we're writing a book.
I'm the other guy.
Shell Israel. We're writing a
You've got
book.
like 12 billion people tracking him.
I figure
Google Plus,
I figure if Mark
Twitter.
is around, you might get a couple views out of this too.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Great, thanks.
Standard machine shop here, metalworking, sheet bender, planishing hammer. This does compound complex curves, for doing bowls or motorcycle guards or that kind of thing. Grinders, cut-off wheels.
Now, does each tech shop have the same
All
equipment?
the same equipment.
All the
All
same.
brand new. We learned that at Kinko's. You want to have the same equipment so that you can train to it, so maintenance is the same, etc.
Looking back here, you could also take down a Mercedes into parts and sell it on the street and buy nothing else.
Could be a funding strategy for some. We are closed from midnight to 9, so who knows?
Who knows?
Welding machines, so MIG, intake, welding, nice setup tables. This is our...
And you give classes on welding?
Oh yeah, we teach everything. So there's literally 150 classes, I think, last month in San Francisco. Everything from introduction to intellectual property law, how to sell things on Etsy, to how to weld, how to use a textile machine, to our sexy beast. She might not look that pretty, but trust me, she's powerful. So this will cut through 5 inches thick of anything on the planet. Granite, titanium, steel, block walls, cardboard, cows, pigs. And
It's a sandblaster.
It's computer numerically controlled.
It's a sand.
It cuts using garnet, actually.
Garnet.
Water and garnet slurry. 65,000 psi at 3 times the speed of sound. And it cuts through cold, actually, so it doesn't change the characteristics of the steel that you're cutting, unlike a plasma cutter.
So they
would.
probably did some of this work here, right?
So that work there, this, nice little California bear cuts through it quite easily. We do have a sandblaster over here in the corner. So back here we have a sandblaster, a small non-volatile paint booth, and then a powder coating oven. So you can do high quality paint finishes on motorcycle frames, automobile rims, bicycles, that kind of thing. Or you could cook an entire cow at one time. It's a very big oven. And here we have a woodworking.
You must have some great barbecue parties here.
Or my first wife.
Shell. Your humor's not for everybody.
Theme there. Computer numerically controlled router, woodworking router. That's where Patrick Buckley got started. Was on that machine. Actually, was in Menlo Park. He came in and asked, "What classes do I need to take to learn how to make an iPad case out of bamboo?" 90 days later, he had sold $1 million in product.
Wow.
4 million in his first year, 10 in the second. I just read an account said he did 35 million last year.
Wow.
President Obama actually carries a Dodo case around. Again, so I like to say we can now send people through our own personal industrial revolution in 90 days. So if you're a bright guy, bright gal, you got an idea, you can now turn that into reality, just like you could in code, 15 years ago. Now you can do it in hardware.
What's the demand like between all those 7 communities or 5 communities?
So in the shops that have been open for more than a year, we're averaging about 800 to 1,000 members. And again, the demographics are across the board. The only skew would be male-female. We're currently about 65% male, down from 95% when we started about 5 years ago. So the women are starting to discover it. We're doing a better job with the colors and class contents and other things and outreach to it.
Yeah.
But it's literally anybody who likes to make things, which is a pretty broad demographic. If you go into a Barnes & Noble and you look at the magazine racks, which I've done, about 1/6 of the entire real estate for those racks is dedicated to crafting or making of some kind. So that's a pretty good indicator that there's a huge pent-up demand for folks who need access to tools or need access to higher quality tools than they might be able to afford in their shops. Let's keep going.
Let's go.
So we rent, as I mentioned earlier, we rent offices out. So we got 3 offices up here that we rent out. We got some offices upstairs that we also rent out. We make some pretty good money on lockers. I think they're 10 or 15 bucks a month. And then next door here in San Francisco, we have another about 12,000 square feet. It's mostly storage and other startups.
We going upstairs?
So we'll go up on one flight of stairs.
I guess.
Economy described it as the innovation cathedral, which is kind of nice. Lots of light. And up here we have free popcorn over here, free popcorn and coffee, the basic vending machines. Sometimes the startups live on the popcorn and coffee. I'm afraid that's kind of why we provide it, otherwise they would starve to death. Down here are the laser cutters. The laser cutters we describe as our gateway drug. Like any gateway drug, they want to be, powerful, easy to use, and extremely addictive. That describes the laser cutters. They're by far the most popular machine in the place. We load up classes when we first open. We can load those up. We do 5, 10 of them a month and fill them out every time. People will accidentally become entrepreneurs after taking the class here. It's happened a couple of times that I'm aware of, where somebody comes in, takes a class, tries to come up with an idea of something to do, comes up with an idea, and then they discover they're not the only ones that want it, and pretty soon they have a little business. And one woman actually then launched an Etsy store and started teaching classes, and is now working on a book on how to launch an Etsy business, just because she took a laser cutter class for $60. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So over here we can show you what.
Lots of fun.
It's a 3D printer company, actually, that resides here.
Oh, cool.
So maybe I'll introduce you to them
Yeah.
a little bit later. It's got the largest, highest quality build space of any 3D printer. They launched out of here, and now they've got an office in the back corner. I think they're doing 15 or 30 units a week already, something like that. They've hired a bunch of members, and yeah.
Very cool.
Brings me back to Autodesk, and how does that relationship with them work?
So Autodesk is our biggest partner and funder. They've got over $10 million into us because they believe in the makerspace so strongly. They've launched an entire consumer division, kind of 1, 2, 3D X. 1, 2, 3D Catch, 1, 2, 3D Creature is my current favorite one. It allows you to build three-dimensional models of aliens or other creatures very easily. I mean, an 8-year-old kid can do this and then create a 3D print out of it. So they've launched an entire division. They've done some key acquisitions in the space. Instructables was bought by them about a year and a half ago. Their entire senior management team are total makers. Carl Bass actually makes baseball bats for his kids' Little League. He goes in and does the lathe, gets the kid the exact size that he wants, laser engraves the kid's name on it.
Wow.
For his senior staff, he spent, all year in his spare time, he designed some kind of fancy looking, bizarre geometric base. Builds it out of 3D and then gets a local guy to actually cast it for him out of bronze or brass or something. So these guys are making. He's got another guy on that helped introduce us to the team there at Gonzalo, who's a 3D printer expert. And in his spare time, he builds like 1/16th scale fighter jets that will do Mach 1.2 or 1.8. I mean, these things are full-blown, really loud jets.
I've seen those in Israel.
Yeah, and this is who these people are. It's like making is in their DNA, and so when they found us, it was like, oh, this is perfect. And then we help push them because their software, their commercial-grade software, is really hard to use, and it shouldn't be. It doesn't need to be, and so they're making it easier for the amateur, and there's a huge market opportunity for them. So it's a great relationship. We brought them to Maker Faire the first time. Now they're going to all of them. We've introduced them to some other 3D printers in the space. It's a nice ecosystem that's developing, and they're becoming a key player in the system. Very cool. So let me show you some other things that the laser cutter will do. It'll etch glass, cut plastic, cut wood. Right. So this is wiener dogs on a wine glass. Why wouldn't you want that?
Gotta learn with
box.
something, right?
Yeah. Obviously, some kind of electronics thing. There's relay, power in, power out. It'll etch, powdered coat off of steel. It'll cut wood. This is kind of fun using 123D. You can take an STL file, a three-dimensional file, pull it into their software, convert it into a cardboard cutout, use a laser cutter to cut this out, pull it together, and then if you wanted to get fancy, you could slap Bondo or modeler's clay over the top of this, finish it up, paint it, and you would have yourself a model this afternoon. Right? So how do you go from a model and an idea at the beginning of the day and a model at the end of the day? Well, you can now do that for pretty cheaply. Whereas before, you needed a $250,000 laser sintering polymer thingy if you were lucky. or access to a guy who was really fast with a knife. You know,
What's the cost of labor and materials in making?
materials is like $1.
Yeah.
You know, labor, even at 20 bucks an hour, yeah, you're talking under $200.
Yep.
And you know, you couldn't touch that before. And then most people overvalue their time, you know, in the evenings and on weekends. And, great tool. So one of my stories, one of the guys came in, yeah, he dreadlocks down to his bottom, you know, cut out jeans, and he just learned how to use the laser cutter. And I came and said, hey, you know, what's going on? He said, he had like this whole thing that he took. Oh, I learned how to use the laser cutter last week. It's like, great, you know, you're really going to town. He says, yeah, you know, see, I made this collar for myself. Had studs on it, nice little black leather collar for his jacket, for his throat. And he says, and my buddy wanted one for his dog. So what did you do? He said, well, I made one for his dog, and then his buddy wanted one, and then the pet store owner that he goes to wanted them. It's like, I'm now like distributing in 3 pet stores in the Bay Area all these dog collars. And he pointed out all the dog collars. It's like, you know, wow, how do you accidentally become a dog leather collar entrepreneur? Well, you do it here. And when else could you have done that? I mean, it couldn't have been done. You couldn't have accidentally become a leather worker in a previous decade. Over here we have textiles. These are commercial grade sewing machines. So they do the heavy duty thread, not just the stuff that you might do at home. As well as sergers. This is a 12-foot long arm quilting machine. So you could load up a California King quilt and then use the pattern to go to town. Now our newer shops actually have computer numerically controlled versions, which I think is fabulous because as a deadhead now I can actually do my own quilts. I haven't done that yet, but it would be a lot of fun. You do your own custom quilts, and all you have to be able to do is know how to do the setup and download the designs off the internet, load them in. Again, the computers have made this just remarkably easy. We also have an embroidery machine over here somewhere. Here it is. A couple more laser cutters, you know, setup tables. We're particularly proud of this. This is a hotline to the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. Yep. And so the idea is that if you've got an idea that you think might be patentable, and you start to work on it a little bit, and you have an issue, you pick up the phone, it dials, and you get a patent officer on the other side. You tell them you're a member of Tech Shop, your file number, it'll jump right to the front of the queue, you'll go read through it, and they'll start talking to you directly. This was actually the patent office's idea. They came through the Menlo Park facility and said, your users are amazing, they need the patent help that we can give them, let's put a phone in. And then we told the Commerce Department that they had that the Patent Office had a hotline in it, so the Commerce Department wants a hotline as well. So we got a green hotline to the Commerce Department and a red hotline.
The IRS has not heard about this.
I don't know who they are.
Irish Republican Service.
Oh, yes. Watch your step. These are the computers. We have about 30 computers in the space between this and the training room. Each of them has about a $30,000 Autodesk software load on it. If you do the math, there's $900,000 in software support alone. And then the really cool thing is Autodesk will subsidize the classes to learn how to use Inventor. So for $25, you get access to that class, and as a member, you get a 6-month free license to Inventor, which is about a $5,000 package. So let me run through that again. For $125 in your first month, and for another $50, you get to learn how to use Inventor and get a $5,000 package. Holy cow. And if you happen to be lucky enough to be in Austin, where we're launching a pilot with National Instruments, you can then take a $50 electronics class and get a $5,000 package of LabVIEW. And for $199, get a $500 package that will replace an oscilloscope, power amplifiers, and a couple of other things. Wow. So again, under $200-300, we get $10,000 worth of software and the training on how to make physical things. It's a great time to be alive.
It's awesome. How many 3D printers do you have here?
We have 2 or 3 little ones out there. So we've got a Replicator 2 there, I think a Type A machine, and then we have a 3D printer company in the corner.
Oh, cool. Hey, what's up?
This is a 4-station silkscreen. So those are great for events where we do t-shirts and beer. So you come over and you download some stuff off the internet, use the vinyl cutter to create a pattern, use the silk screen to silk screen it out, and then you get your own custom made t-shirts. Great for doing small lots, 10, 15, 30.
Yep.
We have 3 startups upstairs here. We have SF Made in the corner. It's a non-profit that helps companies launch, manufacturing companies launch and stay in San Francisco. They started with 14 members. They now have 350 members, and their model has been spread out across the U.S. So they're in like Detroit and Brooklyn and New Orleans. They're all creating these kind of SF Made. Prototech, I think you're talking to later, actually spawned out of this space, as did Type A machines. So.
Let's go over and see Type A machines. I want to see. These are cool. How much does one of these cost? $1,400. Yeah. It's bigger than the MakerBot, right? So
yeah, the build line is about 30% larger.
very cool. Very exciting. Are you the CEO or
I'm one of the co-founders.
one of the co-founders? How did you think about starting a company on this?
Well,
What's your name, first of all?
My name's Milo Alexander. 4 years ago, I got introduced to 3D printing, and I got more and more into the scene, and got involved originally with RepRap project, and then later on by building a Mixtrap, which is one of the early RepRaps, and then later on built a cupcake, built another cupcake, and then started meeting other people in the community. I met Andrew Rutter, who's here.
What's a
and he's the
cupcake?
founder. A cupcake's one of the first model that came out of MakerBot Industries.
Very cool. You know, were you at South by?
No.
Okay, because at South by, a lot of people were talking about the 3D printer panels, I guess, that were going on there. And
I think you do.
so what's this industry like right now? Because it's really innovative and there's a lot happening. A friend of mine has, I think, 13 3D printers in his house, right?
It's a really exciting time.
And for somebody who wants to get into 3D printing, what should they be looking for amongst the market?
Well, they can look for a fully assembled machine and get printing in a matter of days. So that's a good benefit of what the industry is doing right now. It's supplying machines to people. So if they want to order a fully assembled machine, that's great. If they want an engineering project and to go through the process of building a machine either from scratch and local sourcing or as a kit, they've got that option and that route covered as well. If they want to get into imagining or taking their imagination real and finding out what they can do with a 3D printer, then there's a ton of modeling programs that they can use to create content for 3D printers that's printable. And finally, then there's a lot of content online, warehouses of content that are available for people to look at and use and license and print.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much. Where do we find you guys on the internet?
We're at typeamachines.com.
Type A machines, just like that. Great, thank you. All right.
Hey, Kevin Roney.
Hey, how are you doing?
How are you?
What's up? Good shop here.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. So we were based here in Tech Shop for now the past 4 months, really enjoying it. We do all of our production here. So we're actually doing manufacturing in America. So all the R&D happens here and all the manufacturing.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're cranking out quota every week and having a good time. This 3D printing space, it's on fire right now.
Yeah, at South by, it was the top. I interviewed 27 people there, and everybody was talking about, oh, did you see the 3D printing panel, you know? And people are starting to compare machines. You know, there's a competition now, right? MakerBot was the one I was thought of in the
we
space.
were actually in competitive evaluation against a pile of other vendors in the Make Magazine review, and we scored a best in class against the entire thing.
Very cool.
We win it on reliability, yield, mean time between failure, and total cost of ownership.
So if I wanted to buy one, how long do I have to wait in line?
Well, it's 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But we're best in class on those characteristics and a good price of $1,400 and a huge build volume. So we're killing it against MakerBot and the guys.
Very cool. Well, congrats on having a four-week line of customers out the door.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. We have such a long line.
I think we need more tech shops, right?
Absolutely. And Kevin, you ran into these guys.
Oh yeah, I've been a member for my last startup turned out well. I sort of retired for a little while, came to the shop, was just goofing around and stuff. I bumped into these guys, and we just sort of got into business together. So it's just Startup City. Here we go.
Yeah.
So many startups are sort of getting this place's tech shop as a base camp of launching.
Yeah.
It's really such a very, very dynamic environment here at the center of entrepreneurial activity in the U.S. This sort of like hardware incubator of tech shop has got so much potential.
It's really, really cool what you guys are doing. Where does this industry go next?
Well, you know what?
Because it's just taken off.
This industry, I think, right now, it's very similar to the dawn of the PC era. There was this era where there's a bunch of hobbyists sort of messing around with circuits and capabilities, and there was all of a sudden this critical catalytic moment where consumers realized that there was actually broad applicability of this new device in their life. It wasn't just for geeks anymore.
Yeah.
We're about to cross that same threshold now in 3D printing, and so schools and designers and architects and hobbyists and skilled craftspeople and engineers, large corporations, all of them will have, I think, a strong attraction to the creative outlet and the industrial applications of 3D printing.
I was just at JBL, or Harman Kardon JBL.
Yes, sir.
It's all one company. And the speaker designers there are using 3D printers to reduce the time to design new speakers, right? Because they can, they can design new waveform guides, guides for audio.
The idea of agility in manufacturing and iterative design, so much potential.
Yeah.
Who are you selling to today?
We sell to three primary markets. First is makers. There's about 1 million makers in the U.S., so there's a very large available market there. Yeah. Also, small and medium businesses that do manufacturing. So there's U.S. Census status is about 250,000 of those throughout the U.S. And we anticipate them buying whole banks of printers. And also engineers and designers at major firms, architecture firms, design firms, large corporations.
Let's take that forward 3 years.
Yeah.
Who will you be selling to then, and what will the prices be?
Well, yeah, so I think there's a lot of room for roadmap as it expands. Sorry, my phone's ringing here.
No, that's okay.
But yeah,
I thought it was a cool ring.
It's Silicon Valley. It's San Francisco.
The addressable market.
How many phones are ringing on you? That's the better question now.
The addressable market is over $3 billion right now, so huge amounts of promotion. So there's a lot of competition out there, but I think many of them I don't think really understand the startup dynamics. We're the Silicon Valley-based team. We're going to apply Silicon Valley-based startup discipline.
Oh, is this a New York versus San Francisco thing?
Well, I mean,
I'll talk to Bree about that.
I respect New York. It's got a lot going for it. But this here is the renaissance of startup and tech entrepreneurship.
Yeah. To build something that's about the size of my hand, how long does it take right now?
Well, let's see. It depends upon a lot of factors, including density and yield and accuracy. Something about that big, probably maybe an hour.
An hour?
Yeah, it depends on.
And how much does the material cost?
So that's just less than $1 worth of plastic.
$1 worth of
and that's the amazing thing about this is that you could think of a huge range of engineering applications where you take it to a machine shop and build it in a metal fab system with Tormac and similar. Those complex devices take thousands of dollars worth of engineering time and Tormac time. But on a 3D printer, you can do the same sort of prototype in half the time with 1,000th the cost.
Yeah.
So there's breakthroughs on the horizon.
So part of where I was driving with that question is, will you be selling this to people in the home 3 years from now?
Absolutely. I mean,
and what will they be costing?
Well, right. It's hard to know what the price is going to be like, but I think
take a guess. We won't hold you to it. Honestly.
Well, we sell for $1,400 now, and I think in terms of dynamics in the market, people I think will try to make cheaper machines, but the thing is, the leaders with respect to reliability and yield and usability, they'll probably remain in that price range, right? I think that seems like a very excellent price with respect to the value. Right?
And they'll get faster. Is it going to be like the PC industry where every year there's going to be
faster, more accurate, better features, larger volume, all of that? Absolutely.
Okay. What else? What other trends are you seeing happening in the space?
Let me see. I think an accelerated realization of the education impact. I mean, one Type A machine's 3D printer is almost like a makerspace in a box. It offers education on CAD, CAM, on design, on mathematics, on engineering, on prototypes, on so many ranges of important skills for kids and adults to learn today.
When we were at Autodesk, we saw some metal 3D printed parts that had to go into an oven or something like
That's
that.
right.
You can't build that with this.
Well,
right?
actually, no, we have a lot of our users of these systems, they take the bioplastic that we print in and they do investment casting on those objects. So this is a very easy and cheap and convenient way to make high quality metal parts of arbitrary complexity with 3D printing.
And can you print with other non-plastic material like chocolate? There are some chocolate 3D printers,
it's,
right?
it's a fairly advanced CNC system for fused filament fabrication, so it's compatible with a broad range of other objects besides just plastic.
Yep.
And right now it's focusing on bioplastics, but there's a huge future ahead.
Yep. Very cool. And thanks.
I hope this helps. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Mark, for
Absolutely.
dropping us in
Yeah.
here.
Thanks, Kevin.
Sure, man. See you, man.
All right.
All right. We're
I know
off to
you're
now.
gonna meet these guys later. So I saw Kate. Let's say hello. I'm sorry, Kate. Hey, Kate. You want to say hi? Come on. This is
I'm Robert Scoble. How are you doing? It's and the internet.
I have Shell Israel.
So who are you and what do you do?
Kate Sophis, Executive Director of SF Made, and we're a 3-year-old nonprofit organization here in San Francisco that supports the growing manufacturing sector here in the city.
Very cool. And how many? You started out with only a few dozen startups,
We
right?
started out with 12 manufacturers. Some were startups at the time, and some were established companies here in the city. But since that time, both the sector has grown as well as the companies working in our program. So we now engage with 450 companies. About 30% of them are younger than we are, so we do see a lot of startup activity going on, and a subset of those come through Tech Shop here. So we're really excited and continue to have a great relationship by being co-housed here with Tech Shop.
So is this the start of a new manufacturing economy in the United States?
Well,
I guess.
I think we're kind of in it right now.
Yeah.
You know, I think it started a little while ago, but we're definitely seeing an emergent sector here in urban areas like San Francisco, and I think we see similar things happening across the country, whether you're looking at Chicago or New York or places even like Detroit. So I think it's certainly the maker movement meets modern era manufacturing, meets the creative sector, meets cities, which sort of allow for this melting pot of talent and craft and skill and design all to be in the same place.
Very cool.
Are you branching beyond San Francisco?
So we helped co-found a national alliance of other organizations like ours in cities working in the same space called the Urban Manufacturing Alliance. We launched that in partnership with New York 2 years ago. And we now have 21 member cities participating in that. So for us, it's really more about taking models that work here and respect in other cities and being able to share it from city to city. I always say, for me, having grown up in the 60s, 70s in Buffalo, where back then it was all about throwing economic incentives and trying to woo companies away from other cities, it really is a very different environment where I think we're seeing cities collaborating with each other and recognizing the supply chain dependencies among the cities instead of trying to beat each other up, to sort of
I don't know. The Texas Gov still is trying to wrestle.
Well, setting apart individual personalities. I mean, even as far as
He's
Texas is
uniquely an
concerned.
idiot, even for governor.
Well, and we've got initiatives starting out in Houston, and Dallas is connected in with the Urban Manufacturing
You
Alliance.
mentioned Detroit is too.
Detroit, Chicago, Seattle, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Oh, how I wish Pittsburgh a little bit more in the house. So we've been very much organic in our growth, and so we're waiting for organizations out of Pittsburgh to frankly reach out and connect in.
They're trying to start, there's a lot of people trying to start stuff there.
So, I mean, and it can be a university. So, for example, in Atlanta, it's actually Georgia Tech that's the member of the Urban Manufacturing Alliance. So if CMU, wanted to reach out and connect in, we'd be thrilled. But yeah, I laugh because my husband and our whole family and his side's from Pittsburgh. So for me, I'm just like, come on.
Well, we got a table for you in Pittsburgh.
Good, right on. So am I to assume you're from Pittsburgh?
No,
Or
but
just interested in Pittsburgh?
I met someone recently who told me all this was happening in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And I said, you
Well,
have a
good.
tech shop? And they said, no, but
Yeah.
we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And so I was
This
curious.
is the year I think we're going to see
Yeah.
something come out of it.
Now, how do you make enough money to stay viable and keep everybody employed?
So we're a nonprofit.
Yeah.
We're 501c3. So we're supported from 5 different sources. The first is the city of San Francisco, which is great, who we partner with. So we are sort of acting as a public-private partnership with respect to that. And we operate in partnership with the Office of Economic and Workforce Development and the workforce piece of the city, as well as planning and building. And so that's one piece. We also get close to 20% of our support from manufacturers themselves, which is maybe the thing we're most proud of. We don't charge membership, we don't have dues. We ask them to voluntarily contribute to us on an annual basis. And
What
so
size
that's
are these
important.
manufacturers generally?
So they range. In our city, they're almost all consumer product. They're, for the most part, branded consumer products using the San Francisco brand as part of how they differentiate themselves. The largest is Anchor Brewers and Distillers,
One of my favorite.
and they're growing. They just announced a week and a half ago they're going to be expanding and building a second facility in partnership with the San Francisco Giants on the pier next to the stadium. So that's a great example for the other companies.
It's a short supply chain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And actually, the ballpark is their biggest customer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So short and
Lock 'em
deep.
in.
Yeah, exactly. Timbuktu is one of the other larger manufacturers, but they're all still small. You know, even Anchor, by the U.S. definition, is fewer than 500 people and fewer than 100 million in revenue. The average size, though, of our companies, it's a long, sort of long tail of one and 2 person companies, but average is about 7 employees. And shy of $1 million in revenue. So we're seeing a lot of vibrancy created by relatively small companies. And if you go to New York, their average size is only 10 employees. So it's very similar when you look across major U.S. centers. Collectively, they employ about 4,000 folks, and very much diverse.
Yeah.
Very diverse, which is our sort of mission as a nonprofit, is to sustain and grow manufacturing jobs for diverse San Franciscans. And so in that sense, outside of the city, the companies themselves, we partner with other major private corporate actors who tend to affiliate with us because they're from here, like Levi Strauss and Gap Corporation. They will donate to our work philanthropically. And then increasingly foundations will support our work because they see it as a model that can be used in other cities. So locally, the Haas Senior Foundation, nationally, the Circa Foundation, the Kaufman Foundation have gotten interested in our
And
work.
other than the fact you're here, what's your connection to Tech Shop?
Wow. We're here because of the connection as opposed to the other way around. So
Yeah, they
there
started
was-
on a table.
Yeah, so
out
there
there.
was an intentional, Mark
Yeah.
invited us to be here when it was originally just me and my co-pilot Janet over there, who's our senior director. And you can see our whole full-time staff here. Actually, we're very excited. This is Claire. Hi.
Hi there.
Claire's our newest team member, but she comes from New York City, and she is running all of our workforce and hiring programs. And I think it's very emblematic of where we started. We're trying to help grow these companies. Well, now they're hiring so fast, we can't keep up with them. So now we have a full-time focused person on helping the companies find people, and also launching a youth apprenticeship program, which we're really excited about. And then Farron here is our member engagement manager, and so she sort of runs air traffic control across all 450 companies, making sure they all have homes programmatically in our work. Our work spans, it's pretty broad, we're kind of lucky. We have a whole branding and develop retail partnerships for the companies. We have business advising and education, much of which we do on site here at Tech Shop. We have a licensed real estate broker on staff so that we can really proactively help these companies find space, which is a prime reason some will leave if they can't find space in a city like San Francisco. We help them find capital, raise capital, and we help them with their hiring. So it's
So
real
you're sort of
wraparound
a
model.
small manufacturer's expediter.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Integrator, policy advocate,
And I was
real
trying to
estate broker,
condense
accelerator.
accelerator.
Yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
true.
Where do we learn more about you?
sfmade.org.
Very cool. Thank you.
And you guys are?
Thank you.
Scobalizer and Shell Israel, Forbes
I
magazine.
work for Forbes.
Yeah.
And we're writing a book together.
Yeah, that's great. Well, good. Well, pleasure to meet you.
Who are you?
I'm Adam Ellsworth, and I'm a co-founder of Prototank.
Very cool. That's your sign.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of the first products that we started out with. It's called the Question Block Lamp, and it's inspired by Super Mario Brothers, which is a game that people from ages 5 to 45 have played. It's a really ubiquitous game, and this is sort of an object that's been taken out of the game, and we made it in reality as a lamp that you would put in your kid's bedroom or in your office or something like that. And so it's touch sensitive. It makes sounds from the game. I don't know if you can pick that up.
A little bit.
I'm gonna go through it because once in a while you also get the
Yeah.
that sort of yeah, exactly right.
So you have a capacitive touch sensor on the bottom.
So we probably could have gone with an off-the-shelf capacitive touch, but my partner, who's really good with electronics, said, "Why don't we just put a piece of copper in there?" And apparently, it's quite. You run a voltage through it. You run an oscillating voltage through it, and it turns it into a capacitive touch sensor. So we're actually pretty basic in terms of electric components. It's really basic.
Yep.
So,
Very cool.
Yeah, and I can show you some other stuff that we're working on.
Let's go on in. So this is your space.
Yeah, this is our
You get to hang out at Tech Shop.
is amazing. It's it's one of the luckiest things that we have going for us is that we can close the door and relax and hang out on the couch. This sign that you see up here is a new type of sign technology that we've invented. View of it. That's just sort of an example of a corporate sign that we could do. But about a week ago, have you ever seen an infinity mirror before? So the concept behind an infinity mirror is you take a two-way mirror, one that you can see, that you can partially see through, and then a regular mirror on the back, and you put lights inside of them. And so the lights bounce back and forth, but you can see sort of this extension into infinity.
Great.
And what we did was we ended up putting some of our signs inside of those. So
Okay.
normally just a mirror,
Oh wow.
and when you put it in, or when you turn it on, you sort of see this 3D effect, and you can look at it from the side.
Very neat.
So we going to start selling those, and hopefully take the same trajectory as the lamp, which was kind of the whole idea. Is
We
that
had been here in 1968. We'd be building here.
That's good to hear.
Wow, man.
Did drugs have anything to do with that?
Oh yes.
I don't recall.
Well, we're hoping to get some of that segment of the population. I'll tell you that.
No, this would be popular to put in bars and stuff like that, right?
and it's
different
totally
kind of signage.
it's customizable, so we can do anything that's monochrome at this point. So like, a Nike swoosh or the Coca-Cola symbol. The most very iconic branding or images.
How does this
are
work?
single color.
You have LEDs all the way around?
Yeah, so-
that are shining into the plastic material here?
Yeah, so let me give you another example here. This will probably illustrate that to some extent. So, I hope this isn't too dusty. But so we've got here, and this is patent pending, so we'll talk about it. But it's our invention, which is this is regular acrylic on the outside. This is a special type of acrylic on the inside, and one is inserted into the other, so that when you turn it on, the light passes through the regular acrylic, but when it hits the central acrylic, it glows in a really nice even distribution. And that material was invented by another company, and we're just using it in a novel way and using laser cutters to take advantage of that. And so what you see in there is basically this exact same setup, except on the front you've got a two-way mirror, one that you can partially see through, and then on the back you have a full mirror. So that image bounces back and forth all the way back. It looks like it goes back about a foot in this other example.
Yeah, you can see it bouncing off there. How much does a sign like this cost?
We're selling the ones without the mirror for $199, and we're selling is that a 3D camera?
Yeah,
That's
but I'm
awesome.
only filming in 2D. So
Okay.
I could film in 3D.
Yeah, so these
Let me get
were
over here.
sure.
Shoot. There you go.
These we are selling for $199, and these we're selling for $299.
Okay. And you could, if I had a custom logo, I can have
Yeah,
you do
yeah,
that.
we can do pretty much any custom logo that fits within the right parameters.
And how big can you make them? Is this about the size limit?
The biggest we've made is the 18 by 24 that's on our wall
Yeah.
or in the window over there. But it depends on the access to the largest laser cutter. And the largest laser cutter we have access to is 2 feet by 3 feet, and it's a matter of time before we make that one. Probably by we'd want to make that on like a custom order. We'd want to work with somebody who's like, oh yeah, I want the biggest.
It makes sense as a nice corporate sign or something like that.
Yeah, it's got a clean, well, what we think is a pretty clean look to it.
Yep. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
Well, cool. That's how you start a company. It's a tech shop. You get
Yeah.
to play with all this equipment.
play with toys, and there's this is the thing that we decided to go forward with. But these are other stuff we're working on. It's alright.
Need me to move?
Just stay there.
This is it's not plugged in right now, but it's a head tracking robot. So it
Yeah.
uses a Kinect and a basically an articulated camera control to follow faces.
Yep.
These are little spider bots. They're controlled by a chip called an electric imp, which is. Have you guys heard of this technology yet?
I have.
I have not.
It's a really easy and a pretty affordable way to connect to Wi-Fi. So yeah, this it's all in here, right? It's got an ARM processor and a Wi-Fi chip and an antenna.
Okay.
And so what we did was we hacked apart this SpiderBot, which you can get at Radio Shack, and we then we mount an iPhone or like a phone to this, and then you can from an iPad or somewhere else, you can walk the phone around on the Spider on a conference room table and have a teleconference via SpiderBot.
Yep.
So
Cool.
Very cool.
it's basically the idea. The idea originally was to work for about 3 or 4 months on a bunch of different ideas, and then pick the one that we wanted to move forward with.
What do you sell this for?
We don't sell those.
That's
Those are
just fun.
Yeah, those are just prototypes.
That's why I asked him what his night job was. What's he doing for fun?
And we go back to that from time to time.
Yeah.
We sort of take a break from pushing our products forward to prototype some new stuff and try to keep creative. Stuff
Very
like
cool.
that.
Where do we find your stuff on the internet?
Prototank.com is one way to do it.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is pretty cool. So I knew you had a couple of hobbies at night.
Yeah,
Do
luckily
you
we
want
were
to do a
paid for
demo
this
of what
one.
happens?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Or I'll do it, or Robert.
Would you like to step in?
I'll let you do it.
Okay, so
I'm about to drive very fast, and that wouldn't be a good idea.
Yeah.
so this coat was for Carl Bass, who's the CEO of Autodesk, and we figured we wanted to put something special on his coat. So this sensor over here tests special type of liquid. So I just need to breathe into this breathalyzer.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. So it's measuring blood alcohol content, or actually, it's the content of alcohol on your breath.
Yep.
So this is by no means as sophisticated as something in a police station or something like that, but it's a good party trick.
No, but this is cool. And
And you get to test it every 4 minutes, do you? Or?
you were telling me that you started playing with wearable computers because of
so I went
Burning
to,
Man.
Yeah, I went to Burning Man for the first time last year, and I wanted to bring something interesting, and I had done work with Arduino and had started using these LED strips for some various projects, and so I put together a suit that had an accelerometer on it, so that whenever I moved or jumped or danced or anything like that, it would pulse to whatever beat that I was moving, and that sort of inspired the idea of making these coats in this way.
Now, this is pretty cool. This is a little bit expensive. It costs about $2,500 for one.
Yeah,
to make one of these.
So I'd say if we were to do it again, we might be able to go down to $1,500 or $2,000. But like the components alone, it's about $400 or $500. But it's really the time. I mean, it would take us about a solid week work. One person about 40 hours of work to get it done.
Wow. And why is that? Because you have to stitch in the LEDs into the clothing?
So the LEDs are glued on with an adhesive, but it's really all of these solder points. So if you see these wires like moving, all around the coat. Each
Yep.
one has an individual solder point that was done by hand by my partner Ryan, who's our electrical engineer and a soldering whiz. But you know, he had his head to the grindstone for about a week, just putting each one of these together.
But this tells me that clothing in the future is going to be electronic.
I can
And,
certainly see that, especially
you know,
with flexible circuits. This is a semi-flexible circuit. I think, as I mentioned before, it has it has some weak points to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of
Laundering would be a
research.
problem.
What's that?
Laundry.
Laundering would be a problem.
Yeah, definitely. Dry
Yeah.
clean only.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even know if dry clean could.
no, I don't think we could do
I'll
that.
talk to you about.
Lint roll only.
Actually, there's some cleaning systems coming out that'll
Yeah.
help with this situation. But it's cool, and Arduino board's running it. This one doesn't have sensors in it, or well, it has the.
This one has this sensor.
the breathometer.
The Skylar's had an accelerometer. It had a microphone, so he could speak into his sleeve, and the coat would react to the sound of his voice, or audience could applaud, and it would react to that. And then it also had a distance sensor, so he could sort of hold his hand up to things, and the coat would change color and intensity based on how close something got to his wrist.
Very cool. I think this is the future of your business, because I want one of these in the worst way.
That's a good sign.
I'll put down the $2,000 right now to buy one. So
I'll
You know,
take
there's
it.
a place on Broadway in New York that's got a bow tie that lights up when a pretty
yeah,
girl
it's not
walks
as
by.
cool as this. I want
glad to
I want an electronic lab coat. Keeping it clean is going to be a chore, but
Yeah.
very cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure thing.